on Sheviit, Perek Daled, Mishnah Daled. Okay, now we're going to talk about the way people would treat the way the people would work on their, or not work on their, olive trees or olive orchards on Sheviit. Says the Mishnah, Hamedel bezeitim. Medel means to thin out. If you look at the Jastro, it's from the word dalal, the root dalal. Dalal, to thin, take off grapes, to take out plants. And he gives us a Jastro bonus. He who thins the vineyard. No, vineyard is vineyard. So zeitim, same thing. The dalal means to thin out. Someone who thins out the zeitim trees. So the question is, when you thin out the olive trees, if you're removing olive trees from your orchard on Sheviit, how much of the tree can you take out? Beit Shammai omrim yagom. Beit Shammai says yagom means you cut it down to the root, but you don't take out the roots. Beit Hillel omrim yisharesh. Beit Hillel says you can even take out the roots. Now, it's a fascinating question. It's interesting. If you look at the Bartanura, why in the world are you allowed to cut out the trees? So the Bartanura says, Meidel b'zeitim, k'sha'zeitim mikuravim ze lazeh yoter midai, when the trees are too close to each other. Notel echad maniach shnayim, you take out one, you leave two. Or notel shnayim maniach echad, you take out two, you leave one. If they're too close together. So that kadesh yigdal v'yit aveh. So that the trees will grow and grow thicker. But the whole point is, it's very interesting. The Mishnah says, yagom, okay, you can, yagom, gomem u'mekatzei ta'ilan, you cut down the tree, umashir shoresh, you leave the roots, v'lo yisharish the garmer, you can't take out the roots, shelo yire'eh ka'ovedet ha'adamah, it shouldn't look like you're ovedet ha'adamah. But this raises the entire question. What's the point of cutting the tree? I mean, in the language of the Bartanura, the point is, Kadesh yigdal v'yitaveh. It's a very interesting question. Why would you be allowed to even cut down the trees? Forget taking out the roots or not taking out the roots. Why would you be allowed to cut down the trees? So the Bartanura seems to imply you're doing it for the field, but we learned in previous Mishnayot that's impossible because it's hard to imagine, not impossible. It's hard to imagine because we learned before that a person was prohibited from even cutting part of the tree in order to benefit the tree. So says Tosfot Yom Tov, okay? Sarich lechalek be'medel zerud. Remember, zerud with the pisul. We talked about cutting out branches of the tree because we learned before that was prohibited. So he says the following: V'nira keperush haram. This is the Rambam. Shadal medal hu shichotem liot etzim le'esh. You're not cutting it out for the benefit of the field, but you need the trees. I'm allowed to cut trees down for the benefit of for the trees. I can't cut the trees down for the field itself. The Efshar, he says, Shagam Harav. This is the Rab Bartanura Soverkin. Maybe the Bartanura also holds like this. Ella de Meidel de Alma Perishu de Hukak. But he's giving you the translate to the Klak explanation of Meidal. Otherwise, if you don't say that, the Bartanura is very questionable. Why in the world would you be able to cut down olive trees? Okay, so we said, Meidal is, Beit Shammai says Yigo, and Beit Hillel says Yisharesh. You can even take out the roots. Umodim b'machlik ad shiagom, and they agree that machlik you're only allowed to cut down to the stump and not allow the roots. So ezehu meidal. So what is meidal? Echad o shnayim, one or two trees. Hamachlik shlosha zeh b'tzad zeh. Machlik from chalak, smooth. There's three trees, zeh b'tzad zeh, one next to the other. So if I cut down one or two trees, then it's a machloket. Whether Beit Shammai says I cut to the root, to the stump, and Beit Hillel says I can take out the roots. But everybody agrees that if I'm taking out three or more trees, according to the Rambam, for the wood or for whatever, then I can only take to the stump. I can't clear out the roots because then I'm really fixing my field and it looks like I'm fixing my field. But when is that true? Bitoch shalo, if I'm cutting down trees in my own field. Let's say my neighbor says, I decided I'm not doing olives anymore. There's no money in olives. You can take as much wood as you want. Then ava machlik yisharesh. And if I'm cutting down in his field, I can even take out the roots. They were also valuable for firewood, and that is permitted, and because, as the Bartanura says, nobody fixes the field of his friend. And it's known that he's doing it in order for the sake of the tree. So it seems actually, one could suggest that even the end of the Bartanura's commentary, would even connect to the beginning of the Mishnah, and that the whole purpose, the whole permissibility of cutting down these trees is when when you need it for the wood. We will stop here. If you have any comments or questions, email me at rspolter@gmail.com. And we'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.